All right, guys, we've got some brand new news from Blizzard on Same Faction Battlegrounds in TBC Classic. We have the testing results, and we are also being notified that more tests are going to be planned. So here it is, guys. From Blizzard. First and foremost, thank you to everyone who played Battlegrounds last week and sent us thoughtful and informed feedback on Same Faction play. While we don't plan to re-enable it again over the next few days, we are analyzing the data we collected and we're planning to test more soon. So for those of you who aren't up to date on what happened, which I'm pretty sure most of you probably are, but Horde versus Horde and Alliance versus Alliance, but really more so Horde versus Horde, Battlegrounds were implemented in order to shorten the queue time for the Horde, which was much needed because the queue times for Horde were really just way too long. I was hearing, stories from people saying 1 hour, 2 hours, just to get their daily done for the day. And you can imagine, what if you end up losing that after waiting an hour? Well, that really sucks. Most people probably aren't willing to wait another hour, or even some people aren't willing to wait that initial hour to get into the battleground. Those queues are just too long, so that's what Blizzard implemented over the course of a weekend. So what are some of those results? Blizzard says here are some of our initial findings that will inform our next test. Before this test, most players who joined the queue were unable to get a match, sometimes after waiting for over an hour and or dropping out of the queue altogether. This was particularly unfortunate at some times of day or in some regions. During the test, BG queue times became short and reliable for both factions. Prior to the first test, we wondered if the queue was having an effect on PvP in the outdoor world, and we now have data showing that when same faction battlegrounds were available, PvP deaths in the outdoor world were very close to 50-50 between the factions. So I'm curious to what the outdoor kill death would be without same queue. They don't mention it, but I think because they don't mention it, it's basically, I would say it's proven that because of the long queue times, Horde are more likely to go around and participate in world PvP while they wait for their queues to pop. I don't know because I haven't done it myself, but I would imagine if you're waiting for queue to pop, you're going to go do stuff in the open world, whether that's going around mining, maybe you're going to go do Hala or Hellfire Rampart, PvP, open world PvP, or maybe you're going to go do the Spirit Towers. What else are you supposed to do while you wait for that queue to pop? You can't really do something that's a huge commitment, like going and doing like a heroic or just a regular dungeon. So I totally imagine that a lot of Alliance died in the open world on PvP servers because of the long queue times, and maybe this is making people ganking, right? Maybe someone's waiting for the queue to pop to go around and gank some Alliance, right? So I think what they're trying to get at here is that PvP deaths in the outdoor world kind of evened out once Horde had slower queue times. So maybe less ganking is sort of a positive impact. Now, this last bullet point, Blizzard's saying, similarly, win rates for the two factions when facing the other faction in Battlegrounds were close to 50-50. Now, if you saw my last video where I was basically saying how Alliance, it feels like Alliance hardly ever win, I think Blizzard has just come out and said it. Here we go. There it is, 50-50. It's close to 50-50. So I think anecdotally, or based on anyone's personal experience, you might say, Horde never wins or Alliance never wins, but it looks like when you take everything into consideration, it looks like both factions win somewhat of an even amount of times, which is actually really cool to see, which basically kind of debunks the whole theory of imbalance between the two factions when it comes to how good each race is, right? I guess that's saying that Will of the Forsaken is not so much more broken than Perception, or maybe Hardiness is not completely overpowered compared to Escape Artist. Somehow it kind of all evens out. Those racial abilities don't make too big of a difference. I think on a 1v1 level or in a small scale, maybe they make a difference, but I think when you take everything into consideration, it looks like the factions are somewhat even, and I think that's a really cool thing for Blizzard to come out and mention. We'll let you know as soon as we've completed our analysis, have decided on any further tweaks to the system, and are ready to test it again. And again, thank you very much for your feedback as we explore potential solutions. Now, I actually did believe that Horde won more games than Alliance. I was actually reading a lot of the comments, and there were so many people willing to share their experiences with Battlegrounds, and I think a lot of people were really, really upset that this wasn't here to stay, and we're upset with Alliance not liking this, because a lot of people rolled Alliance in order to avoid these long queues, and then now it kind of feels like, why roll Alliance, because we have the worst racials in PvP. But hearing some Horde stories, like, when you wait for an hour for a queue to pop to get your daily done, this is like your one shot. You go into like Eminem style, like if you had one opportunity to get your daily done, would you capture it or would you just let it slip, right? And so these Horde are trying literally their absolute best for that one game that they finally got in after waiting an hour, 2 hours, right? Because you're not willing to wait that long again to get your daily Battleground done. And so you're trying way harder compared to the Alliance, who are completely content to lost farm all day. I see so many AFKers. I see so many people that get discouraged within the first 5 minutes. I'm Alliance, so I see this all the time in the chat. People are like, just let them win, let them cap, don't fight back, let them end it, all that type of stuff. I think Alliance are easily discouraged. There's also another comment that people talk about, how Horde are typically more mature, older people, which I want to address. And actually, and again, this probably cannot be true across the board, but I think that I have actually seen, if you play during the day, like work hours as Alliance, you're gonna win a lot more than if you played after like 5 or 6 p.m. because all the Hordes are getting home from work and they're ready to to beat down some Alliance. That's been my experience. Like, if I can find hours where people are probably at work as an Alliance player, you're probably gonna win more. I've honestly seen that it becomes pretty unwinnable after work hours as Alliance. It's something I've just noticed. So I don't know if it's true or not. I'd love to see Blizzard. I don't know if they can release that, but I'd love to see like the average age of like each faction. I think a lot of people like Alliance because of the way they look or the lore, or they don't want to, of course, like look like a monster, be the bad guys or whatever. Horde, a lot of them probably are pretty serious PvPers because of the racials, things like that. But it's been a really interesting test. I think that, after watching some other people's takes on it and understanding, the how complicated this issue is, like, yes, the origin of the Battleground issue is in fact faction imbalance. There's way more Horde players than there are Alliance players, which is causing Horde to have way longer queues, and that's basically the problem. Now, Blizzard's, solution is, okay, let's just have Horde players fight other Horde players so they can get their honor. I think it's an okay fix. I honestly think it looks like it went pretty well. It looks like World PvP, aka ganking or Alliance dying, evened out once these queues were once they were implemented, and then win rates within the factions were close to 50-50. So it looks like there is no like tweaking that needs to be made. We don't need every man for himself. We don't need the improved shadow meld, both things that were added in Wrath of the Lich King. Looks like things are looking pretty well. So I think Blizzard is doing a good job trying to make changes. I think, we're so far beyond the hashtag no changes that I think it's fine that Blizzard's doing it. I mean, it's a different game at this point. Kind of interesting, if you look at a survey I went out about dual spec, it looks like the vast majority of you, or I guess I'd just say a good portion of you, maybe 60-70% of you, do want dual spec introduced. Like, maybe that's the next thing Blizzard can take a look at, since they're sort of changing the game and catering for a new age of World of Warcraft. Maybe TBC would be even better with dual spec. I don't know. I think it might actually be a nice quality of life improvement. Maybe gold. This would like make everything go down in price, though, because there'd just be so much more gold in the system. When people don't have to respec, 1, 2, 3 times a week, whatever you're doing. But anyways, guys, I'm really happy with some of this action Blizzard is taking. My opinion has definitely changed based off these results. I'm very happy to see Blizzard release the 50-50 win rate across the two factions, because, again, personal experience can very much shape your opinion, but it's good to see the actual true facts. And I'm going to go off of that. So that's it for today's video, guys. As always, don't forget to give the video a like if you liked it, subscribe for more World of Warcraft content, and I will see you in the next video. Take care.